Ashley.
And I'm Chris.
And we're The Meantime.
And this is Mice in the Attic. So, we are so glad to be here today. First of all, we want to introduce ourselves. Like we just said, we are The Meantime. We are a singer-songwriter duo from here in Baltimore, Maryland, and we are the new hosts of Mice in the Attic. It's a funny story. Right now, we are in our own individual homes, and we signed on to be hosts, I think the Friday before the stay-at-home order was issued. So unfortunately, we were not able to start the show as hosts like we wanted to. But we are thrilled that we are back, and we are going to be doing this with a slightly altered format. It's a really funny story. We were actually today, the day that this episode is airing, we were supposed to be guests on the show. So what a fitting way for us to come back as not only guests, but as hosts of the show. You can hear a little bit of our music and get to know us a little bit better. So to get to know us a little bit better, we are, like we said, a singer-songwriter duo from here in Baltimore. And we met about 2 years ago. We met playing in a wedding band together. And we've been writing music for about 2 years now. And it's been a really rewarding experience. It's been a really effortless experience writing with Ashley, and this lockdown has kind of changed our tack a little bit, and we'll talk about that in a little bit. But it's really kind of helped us focus on really doing the work. Ashley, would you agree with that?
Oh my God, yeah. Except, it's funny when you talk about how we started and how we started, like how we met performing, and how actually performing with The Meantime was the first time I ever performed any of my original music. And so much of our journey has been just interwoven and all wrapped up in live performance and getting to share things with people. So this whole experience has on one hand been super saddening, because that's all I want to do is continue doing that work like everybody else. Like, I'm not special in that way. I think all of us are just aching to go out and share what we're doing and connect with people. But in the other sense has been really fortifying, because I know they say like absence makes the heart grow fonder, but you figure out what you need to do, like what you need in your life. And it's really great that throughout all of this awfulness, that there's one thing that I know, which is that I still need to make music, and that The Meantime is something that I still sort of just need for me in my heart, which is nice. But yeah, so yes, I agree. But we've been up to a lot though. Like,
we really
this has been like, hasn't been like stay at home and do nothing. I mean, it felt like a snow day, maybe day one. And I was supposed to be on spring break for my teaching job. So I was sort of like, okay, I'll just stay home and do nothing, which is exactly what I was planning to do. But I was on campus when Peabody announced that they were shutting down, and all of a sudden in the cafeteria, the orchestra was playing a student-led concert because they knew they weren't going to get their concert. I found out as I was pulling out of the parking lot that La Rondine was not going to be performed. So all of the people who were on stage came off stage in the middle of the first act, or after the first act.
Right,
I found out.
I remember seeing that.
Yeah, and everybody rushed to the dress rehearsal, and it was just like, it was saddening, and it was really beautiful at the same time when you find like all of these musicians are like, we're not going to get to perform together maybe ever again, and all of a sudden the performances became something that was done out of need.
Yeah.
And I don't know you could have gotten a more heartfelt performance. But like, now we're not staying at home, we're working at home, and we're teaching from home, and we're parenting from home. We're doing everything from home except getting any type of rest at all. And for a really long time, I couldn't be creative, and it really hurt to go on social media and see people saying like, stay well, stay safe, stay sane, and stay creative. And I'm like, I got 2 of the 4 of those things. And I started to feel really bad about it, because who am I to complain? Like, there are so many people who have to continue to go to work because they're essential workers and they're scared and their families are scared. Or there are people who need to go to work to feed their families, but their businesses have been shut down and they can't. And you just sit and you wait. And I've been fortunate to not be in that situation. So on top of grieving the things that I lost, like not getting a master's recital, finding out I wasn't going to have a commencement in person, and not getting to see my students, and dealing with my children not getting the experiences that they were leaning on, like my oldest not being able to be in her softball team and she made varsity and all of that, coupled with feeling really bad for feeling those ways, I couldn't be creative at all. And then one night, just sort of sitting with my ukulele and I just decided to play some chords that were off on purpose because I was like, I know I'm not being creative right now. We're just going to whatever. And within a day, staring it down, just bleh, came out. Because it was the first time that I felt like I had a right to say something and a need to say something that wasn't like, look at how sad my life is. Because there's no way I'm going to put that out into the world that, you know, that I'm struggling if other people have it worse than me. And I'm also not going to put out into the internet and into the world that everything is super great, because that's dishonest. And if there's one thing that I am, it's honest and authentic. So that song just sort of fell out in 24 hours. We put that video together. And so that's the first song that I want to share, because I think that it encapsulates what we've been going through and how we've been trying to find our creative voice through all this. So without any further ado, here's Staring It Down.
Staring at the precipice of over. Everybody's saying don't look down. The guy beside me's handed me a blindfold. Says, would you really rather see these things right now? But I have to look. I'd rather open my eyes and see what it is than wait for somebody else to tell me how to picture it. I'm staring it down. Talking to a checkerboard of faces, locked inside the friction of the grid. It's easier this way for me to archive the moments and how swiftly we undid them all. But can we talk? 'Cause I'd rather open a window and see your face than wait for the radio to intercept another wave. But I'm staring it down. And in this day, just like every other, make sure all of my devices are asleep. We try to clean the streaks off of our glasses, 'cause we can't see when we just stare at our own grief. But in its place, I'll keep you safe. I'd rather open my arms, let you close your eyes, and wait for your heartbeat to slow to this lullaby while I'm staring it down.
Wow. Thank you, Ashley. That's a gorgeous song. I really, really, really love that song.
Thank you.
So, also just the video was great too. Just seeing that, you know, it's like we're doing it right now. We're staring at a grid of faces right now, and it's really crazy how that has become the new normal in a lot of senses. You know, from everything from happy hours to you know, actually, you know, doing work that is, you know, used to be done in person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's kind of my least favorite thing, but it's what we need right now. So I'm here for it.
Yeah.
I miss people. I'm an extrovert. This is difficult for us.
Yeah. It's I am fairly introverted myself, but it's kind of interesting to realize how extroverted you actually are when you don't really get to spend time with anybody.
Yeah. I mean, I have my family, which is lovely. My husband is the most introverted person ever. Like when he got the stay-at-home order, he's like, I've been training my whole life for this. So, you know, but it's funny because even he's like, are we going to see people? And I'm like, all right, now I know it's been too long. We must return. We must return. World, take my husband. Bring him back to me when he's feeling more himself. No, he's awesome. Yeah, it hasn't been, like you said, it hasn't been stay at home. I can talk. It's been do everything from home. And we were supposed to release Watercolor Map last week. Yeah, last week was going to be our release party. But obviously that's still a thing we've been doing. Tell us about that whole experience.
Yes. So, like Ashley just said, last week was supposed to be the release of our debut album as The Meantime, Watercolor Map. And those plans also got changed. But the cool part is that we've actually still been able to work on this album. We recorded this album in January, which is also a very lucky thing. That we actually got the album in. We got everything recorded within the first week of January. We did the recording at Peabody with our good friend Ed Tatro as our engineer. He is doing a magnificent job. And little teaser, we cannot wait to share this album with you. It is sounding fantastic.
We love you, Ed.
We do love you, Ed. Thank you for everything. You're the man. But yeah, so we were doing it at Peabody, and Peabody is closed pretty much, I think, till July. So like all production there had to stop. But we still had work to do on the album. So actually, kind of tagging on what we just said, you know, we were able to edit the album over Zoom and doing all kinds of, you know, crazy things with plugins to let us hear the real audio. So we've actually still been able to work on this album, and hopefully we're going to be getting it to you guys this fall if everything turns out the way that we want to. So what we want to do now is we want to share with you guys a song from the album. This is a song called Courage, and this song is just about it's a quiet little tiny song about those moments where you know you have to do something, and you've had as many opportunities as you could think of to do it, and you want to do the right thing, and you want to do it the right way, and you just need a minute to look back and say, okay, all those things led me to this moment, and even though I didn't have the courage to do them at this time or at that time, it's now or never, and this is what it has to be, and it can't wait any longer. So without further ado, this is Courage.
I'll always remember the night, the water and the wind almost freezing, but not quite. The first time your eyes met mine, but I didn't have the courage to tell you. But in that moment I felt a spark, igniting the driftwood in my closely guarded heart. And I knew that this would be the start, but I didn't have the courage to ask you. And I'll always remember that night, warm summer breeze, and the moon was full and bright, and I held you in my arms so tight, but I didn't have the courage to kiss you. And I'll never forget the day you told me you love me and you think you want to stay. And I knew those words I had to say, but I didn't have the courage to say them. Well, courage is a funny thing, so I hope you will forgive me now for all my faltering, 'cause it helped me find these words to sing. And I hope your heart is listening, 'cause I'm on my knee now with this ring. Finally with the courage to ask you, to tell you, to kiss you, to love you.
So, you know, I love that song.
Thank you.
And it kind of feels weird to sit on this side of it and not be like on a stage with you and hear it, especially since we put all that work into coming up with a piano
I
part.
was about to say, it's weird not hearing piano on that song. I miss it so much.
I miss it too. And my piano's on, but
Yeah.
alas. But the thing that really struck me was how you introduced that song too, because I'm used to hearing this really fun story, and I'm not going to ruin it if you're out in the ether and you haven't heard it yet because it's hilarious. But normally it's super lighthearted, and then it's just like you grab the neck of your guitar and you're like, hold on to your feelings, people. And nobody knows it's coming because you just like told this awesome joking story. But this time it was like really heartfelt, and it just made me think about how important it is to have a moment to be able to connect with people and like and share with people. And that's kind of why I got into this genre. And I'm just really moved by that. So thank you for that, friend.
No problem. I think a lot of people and a lot of other musicians and artists are kind of going through a similar process right now of taking songs that they wrote at a time, you know, so like, you know, that song is an older song and we've spent a lot of time with that song, and, you know, we have, you know, the meaning with it and the experiences of doing it in the recording studio and playing it live and things like that. But, you know, you look and, you know, in the context of the world as it is right now, you know, songs that, you know, have been one thing forever suddenly are just taking on a whole different meaning. You know, even as a songwriter, it's amazing how, like, you wrote those words, you know, months, years, whatever ago, and, you know, with a specific intention in mind, and then just with, you know, a little reframing. It's amazing how, you know, those things are just how they can change.
Yeah, it's funny you say that because that's literally how our next song happened.
Yeah.
Did you do that on purpose? I don't know.
Maybe.
But yeah, I remember driving home one night after a gig and it being like super, super late, and I was deliriously tired, and I was like on the phone with you talking about meantime stuff, like we're going to do this great next time, this we need to do better next time, and just being myself and analyzing everything. But I was so tired that if I wasn't on the phone, I probably would have been like worried about staying awake. It was that late and I was exhausted. And I just imagined your words like falling out of the speaker of the phone and just like dripping like paint splatters on the highway, and kind of creating that path from where we've been to where we are. And I know that's super poetic, but I was super tired. And we never really did anything. Like I had a song, like an idea before, and then all of a sudden that song came together and we just sort of sat with it and just sort of held it. And then this quarantine situation just totally added a new meaning. And one of the things that was really sad is that we were I was really excited about getting to be a host on Mice in the Attic because I loved being an artist on Mice in the Attic, and now I'm doing both at the same time because I'm super productive and Tonal Vision is wonderful. And so I wasn't really sure how to release this song. And then when Jackie emailed us and was like, hey, we really want to start it up again, it was like the Grinch's heart grew 3 sizes that day type moment. Because I was so excited, and it's like, okay, we're gonna plant a little seed in the middle of this. And Tonal Vision has been, and like Jackie and Craig and Maya and everybody have just been so flexible and open-minded through this. I mean, they're a video production company. Jackie's behind the camera, Craig's running sound, and Maya's taking awesome photos. And suddenly, and you do all of this, you know, as their business, and then they also have this project, Mice in the Attic, to support the Baltimore music scene. So for them, in the middle of all that, and trying to figure out how to make, you know, Tonal Vision work in a really great way for them during the pandemic, they're still thinking about us and about Mice in the Attic and all Baltimore musicians. So that's super cool, like really moving, and I'm just really excited for the opportunity. And I should say also, everybody out there, if you have music that you're trying to put out and you want to talk about it and you want to share and you want to connect, Jackie and everybody at Tonal Vision is giving us an awesome platform to do that with. So we'll make sure that you have all of our emails and links and all that good stuff, but we want to share your music. And it's for that reason that we think that it's the most fitting to kind of informally release the song that I don't think anyone's heard yet, called Promises, which Chris and I had to do completely separately, but we're still able to obviously collaborate. And Chris even got to play a bunch of instruments he could never play live while playing the guitar. So that was pretty cool. So here is Promises.
Strung them together, tied a knot, and prayed that when I pulled they'd hold. Every now and then I unwind that spool, and though I can't make out the words anymore, I can still feel their pull. I'm bound by
Thank you everyone for listening. That was Promises, a brand new song by us, The Meantime. That will be available shortly, so check out all of our social media platforms to find out when you will be able to listen to that. If you liked anything that you heard today, you can follow us on Facebook at The Meantime Band. You can follow us on Instagram at the.meantime. We also have a YouTube channel. Just search for The Meantime. Give us a like, give us a follow in all those places, and you can stay in touch with all things Meantime.
Also, of course, we are super excited to have a platform for artists, for local artists in Baltimore, to share their music. And thank you so much, of course, to Tonal Vision for providing that platform through Mice in the Attic. Please check them out. Please check us out at Mice in the Attic on Instagram, or Mice in the Attic on Facebook. That's where we'll be posting all of these streams and all of these videos while we're waiting. And if you are a local musician who is doing a live stream or sharing your music, please let us know and we will help you with your efforts. We'll share your live stream, we'll share your music, and if there's something you'd really like to say about it and you'd like a platform to share what you're doing and how you've been dealing with this pandemic, and also what you're doing in the future, because this isn't forever and the world will go on, and I know we're all just like itching to get out there and connect with our audiences, but if you are somebody who can't wait until we're on a stage again and really want to share and connect with your audience, please find us. You can slide in our DMs. I'm so sorry, I had to say it. On Instagram at Mice in the Attic, or on Facebook. You can also send us an email. We'll link below. Or you can even hit us up on our personal music Instagrams at Chris.Pierorazio or me at Real Music, because one of us is an adult and one of us is cool.
I do have a cool name.
Whatever. So I was talking about myself. Anyway, please do let us know. Reach out to us. We're going to be scouring the internet anyway, trying to find awesome talent and connecting you with audiences, because that's what we're about and that's what this is about. So please stay tuned for more awesome things.
Thanks. We'll see you guys on Mice in the Attic real soon.